This week's Parsha is Parshas Tzav. At the end of Parshas Tzav, we have a long recording of how the Kohanim, the priests, initially were consecrated to do the service in the temple. It's an interesting set of events because in the beginning it starts off with a lot of pomp. It's very ceremonious. All the Jewish people gather together. There's a very intricate procedure involved. And as everybody's watching, all these different things are done to Aaron and his sons, who were to be the priests. In the middle it says that, this is chapter 8, verse 5, it says, Moshe said to the entire congregation, and this is somewhat into the process, it says, this is the thing that Hashem commanded, in the middle of nowhere. And the next verse discusses how Moshe washed the hands and the feet of the Kohanim before they initially entered the tabernacle area, because that's part of the process that they have to wash their hands and feet. So the question is very simple. Why does it say Zeh HaDavar? This is the thing that Hashem commanded. Well, everything here is something that Hashem commanded. And the Or HaChaim has a phenomenal two-stepped answer. He says that Moshe did this because he wanted the Jewish people to understand that even though all this honor was being given to his brother, Aaron was Moshe's brother, and I'm sure you can imagine that those who like to talk would of course said that, well, obviously Moshe is a leader of the Jewish people, so who does he give the honor of being the high priest? Oh, it just so happens to be his brother? Well, there were many people who were saying that. So for that reason, Moshe says, Zeh HaDavar asher tziva Hashem. This is a thing that God commanded, that this is not on my own volition. I did not pick my brother because I felt that he should have the job. It's because God told me to. Well, then the question is that, well, how does that solve anything? So thank you for telling me that it's not because of your bias that you appointed your brother as the high priest. And why should I trust you that you're the person, that you're telling the truth, that everything you're saying is authentic, that it's God himself who told you that Aaron should be the high priest? Why were they convinced, the rumor mongers? So to that, the Or HaChaim says, another brilliant answer. He says that imagine what was Moshe doing at this point. Remember, we talked about, it says, this is the matter that God said to Moshe to do. And the next verse is the following, which is, wash the hands and the feet of the Kohanim, of the prospective Kohanim. Well, if Moshe was seeking the honor of his family, he was acting like a slave. He was washing people's hands and feet, the dirtiest part of a person's body. He was washing people's hands and feet in front of the entire nation. So how are we to understand? Why would he do this if his purpose was to gain honor for his family? Why would he be made up this process if part of it is the degradation of his honor? Must be he got the communication from God. That was the proof. The proof was in the pudding, because Moshe himself degraded himself to do this service. So just an added point is that you see another amazing idea here is that you have the Gadol Hador, the leader of the generation, washing the hands and the feet of a human being, of a man of flesh and blood. Why was this allowed? Why was this according to his honor? Why was he allowed to do this? Well, the answer is that this is the most honorable thing to do. Yes, in your normal circumstances, washing someone's hands and feet is lowly and not proper for a person of Moshe's station, but to do it, to inaugurate the temple and to consecrate the Kohanim, there could be nothing more respectable, more honorable, like arranging the chairs in a Beis Medrash or picking up a piece of garbage off the shul floor. You are showing your respect for God's house. You're showing the importance you give, the prominence you give to this place of worship, and for even the highest person who's in the highest station, this is something that they should do and are encouraged to do. Quick question on this week's parsha is that right at the end of the consecration of the Kohanim, it says they were consecrated and yada yada, and then it says for 7 days you should stay in the tabernacle. For 7 days, Aaron and his sons stayed in the tabernacle during the 7 days of inauguration of the tabernacle. Because ki moluas yadechem, because your hands will be full. So what full with what? So the Onkelos says that it's referring to the sacrifices. So the question is like this. I'm sure they gave lots of sacrifices, but couldn't they just go out for lunch, maybe a little breakfast or something, take a stroll in the park? Why do they have to stay Why do they have to stay the entire 7 days straight through? That was the commandment. Why couldn't they just leave for a little bit and then come back? Have a good Shabbos.